following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Welcome in to Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bowling. Chris Yao alongside Mo Patton, and glad to have you with us here on this Friday edition, as it is High School Football Friday, and we continue our previews of college football across the Southeastern Conference as we start the SEC West on this Friday. Should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to
East.
it. And
East.
Oh, that's right, East. Sorry, SEC East. Previews. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got Georgia and Missouri. So we go from top to almost bottom. It's okay. Literally covering it from top to bottom today. We won't tell those guys that, though. No, seriously, thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's going to be a fantastic show. Looking forward to it. Jordan Hill of Dogs 24 joins us at 2:15. At 3 o'clock, it's Matt Stahl of the Columbia, Missouri Daily Tribune. And we got plenty to talk about. We got some high school football that's happening tonight. Had a little bit happen last night. And we've got all kinds of things to get to. But, Mo, let me just tell you, now that high school sports are back, the rundowns, especially for Friday, get incredibly lengthy.
Are nearly unmanageable. Yep.
I have almost decided that it's just not worth it on some sports, put it that way. But
got to be careful
committed.
with that. Yeah.
We've committed. And
in for a penny, in for a pound. There we go. So our entire first segment could very well be the rundown. So we probably ought to.
Let's just roll right in.
There we go.
And we'll give you today's rundown.
This is the Rundown.
The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
And in Thursday night high school football action, it was Oakland 42, Hendersonville nothing, with a late field goal to upend Pearl-Cohn 17-14, and started our week off rough, didn't it, Mo? Richland down Cornersville 31-20. In volleyball action, it was Clarksville. Do what?
Go ahead.
In volleyball action, it was Clarksville Academy 3, Ezo Harding nothing. Lawrence County blanked Community 3-0, while Eagleville did the same to Fayetteville, and Loretto to Collinwood. Summertown also blanked Mount Pleasant 3-0. It was Murfreesboro Central Magnet 3, Tullahoma 1. And in shutouts as well, Riverdale over Cane Ridge, Columbia Central over Santa Fe, and Brentwood over Siegel.
In girls soccer action on Thursday night, it was Shelbyville edging Columbia Central 2-1. Columbia Academy with a 5-0 victory over 5-3 victory over Middle Tennessee Christian. Martin Luther King and Fairview played to a scoreless draw. It was Brentwood Academy downing Franklin Road Academy 4-2. Stewart's Creek with a 4-3 win over Gallatin. McGavock 4, Hillwood 1. Hume Fogg defeated Nashville Christian 5-1. It was Mount Juliet with a 6-0 shutout over Lebanon. Siegel 7, Good Pasture 0. Laverne and Smyrna, not Laverne and Shirley, played to a 0-0 score as well. Sycamore with a 3-1 win over Springfield. It was Page 3, Valor Collegiate 1, and Warren County 3, Riverdale 1.
Oh, that was good. Pro baseball action. The Cardinals blanked the Rockies 13-0. It was the Brewers 5-3 over the Dodgers, and the Cubs defeated the Orioles 3-2, while the Braves did the same to the Mets by the same score. And Sounds action, they were postponed due to rain, and that game will be made up on Sunday. So there you go.
So there was no Sounds action against the Jumbo Shrimp of Jacksonville.
Not last night.
High school football action tonight. Spring Hill travels north of the border to take on Franklin Simpson, Kentucky at Greenwood in Bowling Green. That is a 5 o'clock start. At 7 o'clock are all of these remaining games. Lebanon is at Antioch. Nolensville is at Battleground Academy. Blackman is at Brentwood High School. Eagles Landing of Georgia is at Brentwood Academy. And McGavock is at Clarksville.
Independence is at CPA, while Donaldson Christian hosts Middle Tennessee Christian. Creekwood at Dixon County. Mount Pleasant at East Hickman. East Nashville welcomes Father Ryan, while Macon County heads to East Robertson, and Innsworth will be at Evangelical Christian.
In a battle of head coaching debuts, Columbia Academy travels to Ezel Harding. Clarksville Academy is at First Assembly Christian down in Memphis. Page is at Fairview in the Battle of 840. Beach over in the Eastern Time Zone against Farragut. Eagleville takes on Forest. Riverdale is at Franklin. Nashville Christian visits Franklin Road Academy, and Gallatin hosts Mount Juliet.
Lincoln County's at Giles County at the Brickyard. Glencliff welcomes Cheatham County. St. George's is at Good Pasture, while Greenbrier hosts Springfield. Joe Burns travels to Harp. Prep is at Hillsboro, and Kenwood is at Hillwood.
Grace Christian of Franklin travels to Humboldt. Centennial goes up I-65 to take on Overton High School. It's Jackson Central Mary at Liberty Creek as the new Sumner County School makes its debut. Collinwood is at Loretto. Hunters Lane is at Maplewood. Columbia Central travels to Marshall County. Lipscomb Academy making the long drive to Milton, Georgia. And Mount Juliet Christian hosts Lookout Valley.
NBA at Ravenwood tonight in a huge game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Laverne's at Rockville. Green Hill at Siegel. Smyrna welcomes Stewart's Creek. Station Camp hosting White House. Clarksville Northwest takes on Stewart County on the road. Whites Creek is at Stratford, and Lawrence County is down at Summertown.
Summit will host Henry County at Centennial High School.
Kinda, yeah.
So make your plans accordingly. Don't go to Summit, especially if you're coming from Paris. Montgomery Central is at Sycamore. Watertown hosts Fayetteville. Clarksville Northeast takes on host West Creek. It's Portland at Westmoreland. Rossview is at Wilson Central. Friendship Christian goes to Hartsville, taking on the Trousdale County Yellow Jackets. And White House Heritage is at Warren East of Kentucky.
And volleyball action tonight. It at Zion Christian at 4 o'clock. Mount Pleasant's at Columbia Central at 4, and Lewis County also at Columbia Central. That one is at 5. Hampshire is at Culleoka at 5. Zion Christian hosting Collin. I'm not sure exactly where these games. Is this
these
the KD
are
Hope
part of the
tournament
KD Hope tournament at Columbia Central. Yes.
So okay, that makes a lot more sense. At KD Hope tournament, so that means Columbia Central is hosting East Hickman at 4, Mount Pleasant, Columbia at 4, Lewis County at Columbia at 5, Collinwood versus Zion Christian at 5, and Collinwood versus Mount Pleasant at 6. That makes more sense.
Yes. Also, Heritage out of Blount County is playing Riverdale at 6. Stone Memorial is at Rockvale at 6. Also at 6, it's Knoxville Halls versus Siegel. I'm not sure where these games are. So Summit meets Stewart's Creek at 7. Sacred Heart of Kentucky is taking on Father Ryan at 8. Knoxville West is playing Rockvale at 8. And Christian Academy of Knoxville is playing Siegel at 8.
Where's the Sun Sphere?
Knoxville.
Well, then that's where those games are.
Okay. All right, cool. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. All of those games that I just mentioned are in Knoxville. So if you're not there or on the way, you're probably not going.
There you go. In soccer action tonight, it's Zion Christian at Battleground Academy at 4:30. Clarksville's at Station Camp at 5. Bearden takes on Father Ryan at 5. It's Columbia Central at Tullahoma at 6. At 7 o'clock, it's Providence Christian in Lincoln County. Liberty Creek and Blackman at 8:40. It's Oakland and Greenville. Murray, Kentucky and Merrill Hyde at 8:40. And Pope John Paul II or Pope Prep and Powell also at 8:40.
Saturday volleyball action. Lawrence County plays at Florence Central in Alabama. That's a 9 o'clock start. the Cougar Classic, and I don't know who these Cougars are, thus I don't know where they're playing. But University School of Nashville is playing Grace Christian of Knoxville at 9:30 a.m. Grace Christian of Knoxville is playing Middle Tennessee Christian at 11. It's at MTCS. They're the Cougars. Okay, there we go. So USN is playing Grace Christian of Knoxville in Murfreesboro at 9:30 in the morning. Grace Christian of Knoxville takes on the host Lady Cougars at 11:30. Summertown meets Crockett County at 11:30 also. At 12 noon, it will be Harpeth Hall and Girls Prep out of Chattanooga. At 1:30, Eagleville faces Grace Christian of Knoxville. And at 5:30, Summertown faces Grace Christian of Knoxville. Also, time undetermined, Crockett County is meeting host MTCS in the Cougar Classic.
Again at the Sun Sphere, the showdown at the Sun Sphere tomorrow at 8 a.m. It's West Ridge, Stewart's Creek. At 9, it's Father Ryan in Sequoia, Georgia. Also South Doyle and Stewart's Creek, Riverdale and White House Heritage. At 10 o'clock, Hardin Valley and Rockville, Lipscomb Academy and Siegel, and Loretto and Murfreesboro Central Magnet are in the tournament. They just don't have opponents or times at this time.
Saturday's action at the KD Hope tournament at Columbia Central. At 9 o'clock, Hampshire takes on Columbia Academy. At 10 o'clock, Columbia Academy faces Columbia Central. Also at 10, it's Lewis County and Mount Pleasant. At 11, McEwen takes on Hampshire. At 12 noon, Lewis County takes on Columbia Academy. At 1, it's East Hickman and Mount Pleasant. Also at 1, it's McEwen and Columbia Central. At 2, Lewis County faces Zion Christian. 3 o'clock, Zion Christian and Mount Pleasant face off, and Collinwood and Hampshire. At 4 o'clock, that's the finale. Collinwood meets the host, Ladies Lions of Columbia Central.
Saturday girls soccer action. Rossview and Chattanooga School of Arts and Sciences at 8 a.m. Houston and Ravenwood at 8. I don't know where these games are either. These seem to be tournaments of some sort or classics. At 9 o'clock a.m., Sayre, Kentucky at Harpeth Hall. At 10:50, it's Oakland and Powell. 11:30, Lincoln County Blackman, East Robertson and Livingston Academy at 12:40. At 2 o'clock, Chattanooga Christian is against Mount Juliet, and Father Ryan takes on Collierville.
At 2:30, Stewart's Creek takes on Seymour. Merle Hyde faces Anderson County at 4:20. At 5:30, Clarksville meets Ravenwood. Also at 5:30, Houston is at Station Camp. At 6:10, East Robertson meets Concord Christian, and Pope Prep meets Oakland.
Sunday, girls soccer action. Stewart's Creek and Boyd Buchanan at 9 a.m. Mount Juliet, Knox Central also at 9. Davis County, Kentucky and Merle Hyde at 9. At 9:30, girls prep and Father Ryan, Station Camp and Ravenwood at 11:30. At 12:40, it's Pope Prep in Greenville and Pigeon Forge also at 12:40.
Major League Baseball series of interest this weekend. The Brewers are at the Cubs. The Reds are at the Pirates. The Cardinals are at the Diamondbacks. And in a rematch of the 2021 World Series, the Astros are at the Braves. Minor League Baseball, the Sounds in Jacksonville play a doubleheader tonight. Well, and a doubleheader Sunday. They are off on Saturday, as we discussed with Jeff Ham last week. So 4:05 starts on both of those doubleheaders today and Sunday.
On NFL Network tomorrow, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are at the Tennessee Titans, and on Sunday at 7:30, it's Dallas at Nashville SC. That's going to do it for your rundown, and we nailed it. We were right. It took the entire segment.
There we go.
All right, so we'll get to our top story in segment 3, Mo, as we'll take a break here, and when we come back, we have Jordan Hill or Jordan Davis Hill, if you're following him on Twitter, coming your way right after this on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sport today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, and so glad to have you guys with us. It is a Friday edition, and glad to be here on this Friday, Mo.
Yeah, hoping that the games that we go to tonight can kind of live up to the tone that was set last night. I mean, we got off to a great start, and it's a great Friday. Opening night across the state of Tennessee pretty much, so a lot of fun. But before we get to high schools, we got some college football to deal with, I guess.
Yes, we do, in fact. And what better way to start our SEC East previews than with the defending national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. And to do that, we welcome in Dogs 24/7's Jordan Davis Hill at Jordan Davis Hill on Twitter. Jordan, what's up, man?
Hey, guys. I think the schedule's about like it is in Georgia as far as high schools. Everybody's getting started tonight, and just exciting time of year. Football's right around the corner and ready to go.
It absolutely is. In fact, we've got a couple of interstate matchups tonight. One of our teams, Lipscomb Academy, is coming down to Milton, and Eagles Landing is coming up here to Brentwood Academy. So got some crossover stuff going on, but I don't guess you'll be messing a whole lot with high schools, huh?
No, probably not this year, which, I mean, honestly, the last 3 years I've covered high school football in Opelika and Auburn, Alabama. So it's kind of weird. I'm kind of looking at my schedule being like, oh my gosh, I got Fridays open, but enjoying it and know it's going to get busy here soon once the Bulldogs are back going.
Did you cover the championship game? The unfortunate Auburn incident?
Yes. And I really wish I would have saved what my gamer looked like when it looked like Auburn was going to win that thing. But I've never in my life seen anything like Auburn Thompson a few years ago. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And you want to talk about writing a game story in about 20, 25 seconds. That's what happened.
I don't want to think about that. I wish I could get mine done that quick, though, Mo.
I tell you what, though, I think everybody that's been in this business for any length of time has a story like that, where you just want to throw your laptop somewhere, but you can't figure out how you explain it afterwards. So, but anyway,
luckily you didn't have to do that after a national championship game last year.
No, I don't think that was a problem this past year. So Jordan, what does I tell you what? My first question regarding Georgia football is, was there ever any question whether or not Stetson was going to be back?
It's kind of funny. I'd actually just written something about this a little while ago and going to write a story before the start of the year about it. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I think it was a situation where he did take some time. There was probably about 8 or 9 days after that national championship that he kind of, stepped away a little bit, had a chance to kind of think about the decision. But I think ultimately you're looking at a guy that, this wasn't a situation where he was going to be a first round, second round, third round pick. I mean, it was essentially, did he want to go out and maybe, go play college football somewhere else? I don't think that was really that highly considered, or just sort of walk away on top. And I had a chance to talk to his high school coach today again for a story I'm working on for later on. And he was like, I had a lot of people asking me, what's Stetson going to do? And I was like, I think it's pretty clear. I mean, he has been told he cannot do this. He cannot do that. He came to Georgia. He walked on. He was number 22 when he got to Georgia and doesn't exactly inspire, this guy might be a quarterback for us one day. And I mean, he kept facing what could have been dead ends and he kept working hard. So I think it was a situation where he looked at the situation and said, everybody's told me no, and everybody's told me I can't do this. We just won a championship. I have one more year left, wherever he would have played as far as college football. He's only got 1 year of eligibility left. I'm coming back and just see what we can do. So, I mean, I think that's sort of what it boils down to. A Georgia guy, grew up a Georgia fan. He looked at the situation and the realistic options he had. I think it was pretty clear to him that coming back to Georgia was his best bet.
That's just like you said, the fact that they've gone in other directions or tried to go in other directions throughout the course of his career. He wound up going and playing junior college ball for a year and coming back, and they've tried to play everybody but Stetson Bennett at the quarterback position throughout his career, and all he does is lead them to a national championship. And I think for one time, he had to be enjoying that position just a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, kind of a Toby Keith, how do you like me now kind of deal. But I just couldn't have seen it going any other way. Like you said, Jordan, I mean, this guy was a Georgia kid. He was kind of meant to play at the University of Georgia, it feels like. So, but that was something that I wanted to ask, just because there was a lot of conjecture about it coming out of the national championship.
Yeah, and I think a point you made right there, Stetson understood. I think it was the Good Morning America interview he did after the championship game where he basically said, essentially that the ball was in his court. I mean, that he was going to this was going to be his decision. This was going to be, I think the words he used was his turn or his time to be a little selfish. Because he did have to look out for his best interests. And he talked to us in the spring. This was probably a couple months after he had made that decision, and said he talked to the coaches and he said they told me things that I liked and some things that I didn't exactly like. I'm sure that it was he would still have other guys fighting for the quarterback job, which I think he did a very good job of handling that in the spring. But I think he took the time. I think he understood that while he didn't have a ton of time to make a decision, he did kind of step back after that championship game and really weigh what were legitimate options. And coming back for another year, I think was honestly the right move. And I think he set himself up well. I've seen some people trying to say, look at him as a dark horse Heisman just because of the odds, what you could get for him. And I'm not going to go that far, but I do think he can take a step forward given he wasn't taking first team reps last spring and last fall camp. I mean, during fall camp last year, at one point, he was running with the threes. I mean, he went to the offensive coordinator and was like, hey, man, I need more reps. I need more work. The fact that he's had those first team reps this year, I think are invaluable and really set up a situation where I do think he can have a better year than he had in 2021.
Speaking with Jordan Hill of Dogs247.com as we preview the defending national champion Georgia Bulldogs. All of that said, how do Kirby Smart and the Georgia coaching staff feel about the quarterback position coming into this season?
I think they feel really good. I think that they truly do trust Stetson. I think that they've put him in a situation to grow. And I think Stetson's taken it really seriously. He's talked a lot about harping on his footwork, harping on the thing that Kirby said back in spring was trying to cut out those boneheaded plays, feeling like you have to force something. And you know, there were times where things didn't work out well. I think about that SEC championship game where I truly don't think Stetson's the reason they lost that game, but he had some really critical errors that made sure that they were not going to come back. So I think that they see the situation as Stetson's really well set up. I think they feel good, honestly, about the quarterbacks behind him. Carson Beck, Brock Vandegrift, Gunnar Stockton, all those guys. Kirby's really talked up and said that they've done a really good job, while at the same time making it very clear Stetson's going to be the quarterback. There's no sense of a competition, anything like that. They feel good about where they are with Stetson. They feel like they can really trust him. And again, you know, it's a situation where on the other side of the ball, they're replacing 8 starters from last year, all 8 of whom were drafted in April. So there's probably going to be at least these early games. The offense may have to kind of carry Georgia, and I think they feel okay about that. Obviously, they want the defense to take strides, but I think that they see that they can trust Stetson through these early games, especially as this defense gets its feet under it.
On this offensive side of the football, obviously Stetson Bennett does have some weapons coming back, but at least the top yardage wide receiver is ironically in Alabama. How much of a factor is it that this wide receiver group does at least have 60 receptions coming back? And who's going to be the guy this year?
I think as far as the wide receivers, it's Adonai Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell. He's the guy that made a really, really impressive 40-yard catch in that national championship game. He's looked the part even going back from spring. Everybody's kind of had him circled as the wide receiver one, and he's done a very good job of working up to that and showing that he's capable, not so much just that, well, it's your turn. He's capitalized, and I think he's looked good. He had a really nice toe tap grab. We got to watch about 10 minutes, 15 minutes of Thursday's practice and watched him make a very good catch. And then that, on top of that, I mean, they've still got Brock Bowers, who was their leading receiver, leading pass catcher, I should say, at tight end. And their tight end room is just absolutely stacked because they have Brock Bowers back. They got Eric Gilbert, who had a really good year in 2020 with LSU. Also got Darnell Washington, who has probably had the most impressive fall camp. This is a guy that was a 5-star out of Las Vegas who signed with Georgia, 6'7", able to catch the ball, and also gets a lot of praise for the way he blocks and the way he really commits to being a blocker. They're very deep at tight end. I think there's going to be a lot of situations where we see them go 2 tight end sets, get even 3 tight ends on the field. So that really helps them as far as the wide receivers, because they've got Adonai Mitchell. They've got Ladd McConkey, who had a very good 2021. They got Kyrus Jackson, an experienced guy that didn't quite have the 2021 season he wanted. They've got other receivers that I think are able to step up and are capable. But I think the fact that they're so deep at tight end really helps them, considering they lost Jermaine Burton, who you mentioned, and also lost George Pickens, who might so far have had the biggest, preseason camp of any NFL wide receiver. He's gotten a ton of buzz and is expected to do a whole lot of stuff there in Pittsburgh.
A.D. Mitchell, by the way, a Nashville prep product, played his ball at Cane Ridge. So happy to see the success that he had last year and see him getting some buzz down at Athens this time around. Speaking with Jordan Hill of Dogs 24/7 here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Jordan Brock, I just lost his name. Bowers. The tight end. He created a lot of buzz last year. He runs like a receiver, but he blocks like a tight end. I mean, he's going to make things really dynamic down there, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that strikes me with how deep their tight ends are and some of the options like Adonai Mitchell that they have. I still feel like Brock Bowers is that top pass catcher. I think he proved himself. He was just a true freshman last year, and I thought made a really good argument to have won the Mackey Award as the nation's top tight end. Ultimately didn't win it. Trey McBride from Colorado State won it. But very talented guy, and I was telling some people on our message board earlier, I guess that was actually on Tuesday, we had a chance. It was our very first chance to talk to Brock Bowers. Again, he was a freshman last year, didn't really do any media. And he's not quite as big as you kind of expect from watching the way he plays and the plays he's able to make, particularly at tight end. But he makes up for it, man. I mean, I don't think the way he played last year was no fluke. I think that he's really seeing the opportunity these tight ends are going to have. I mean, he's got considerable competition at the position, although I still think it's obviously Brock as the number one tight end. But yeah, he's a very talented guy, able to make plays, like you said, kind of plays like a receiver, but isn't afraid to hit somebody either. So he's a very talented guy. And I still think as good of a season I think Adonai Mitchell is capable of having, I think Brock's still going to be that top pass target and is going to build off of what was a very, very impressive debut season in Athens.
When you look at this Georgia team, obviously you said the defense is having to basically start over. Who are the names that we need to be looking for? Because this defense is pretty much all brand new.
Yeah, I mean, the three names that to me, if we look 3, 4, 5 games in the season and say, all right, where is this team at? Where is this defense? Starts up front, defensive tackle Jalen Carter. This is a guy that may have been getting the most buzz, especially when it comes to the draft and his potential for 2023. A lot of people see him as a possible top 5 pick. Looks the part, played really, really well, even though he was sort of behind the Trayvon Walkers, the Jordan Davises, the Devontae Wyatts a time a year ago. Jalen's a very talented guy, and they're counting on him at defensive tackle. And their biggest question really right now is figuring out who's going to play around him and really open up opportunities for him to shine, because this guy is super talented, and I think he's primed to have a very big year. Jamon Dumas-Johnson, inside linebacker. I don't know if there's a place on this team that Georgia has lost more than inside linebacker. 3 guys from last year were taken in the first 102 picks of April's draft. You obviously had Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, and Channing Tindall. Those guys are all gone. They desperately need some players to step up at inside linebacker. And they've had a few guys flash even going back to the spring. But Jamon Dumas-Johnson has been the guy that has consistently been the name we've heard, the guy we've seen going back to the G-Day spring game. He had 7 tackles, which led all the players. He's primed to really step up. And then probably the third guy I would say is the only one of these 3 that was really a returning starter and was counted on in a big way, and that's Chris Smith, one of the safeties for Georgia. Veteran guy. He's one of 3 super seniors on this team. He's going to be counted on because some of these spots, especially in the secondary, are going to be young, inexperienced guys. The cornerback opposite Keely Ringo is going to be a new starter. The other safety is probably going to be a new starter. Probably going to be a former walk-on Dan Jackson, a guy that got thrown into the mix last year. So I think those guys are really who I look at on defense as kind of when we get a few games under our belts, really looking at the situation and sort of using how they've played as a barometer for how this whole defense has played.
Jalen Carter, Keely Ringo, and linebacker Nolan Smith, each named preseason first team All SEC. Christopher Smith, second teamer for Georgia. So, you know, for all of Georgia's losses on the defensive side of the ball, I don't think anybody's going to feel sorry for him. But you also think that with Kirby and his defensive background, they've got a chance to kind of close that gap a little quicker maybe than some other programs.
Yeah, I mean, they are really at a point where I think it's fair to say, and again, we'll see how they play, but they have recruited at the level of an Alabama where it's you don't have to rebuild, you're just simply reloading. They have a whole lot of talent, a lot of 5-star, 4-star guys. They're counting on those guys to step up in a big way, and I think they're capable of it. I think that early in the year we may see some growing pains, and again, they're playing the number 11 team in the very first game, and it does help that it's essentially a home game being played in Atlanta. But they've got talent. It's just a matter of some of these guys really stepping up to the challenge, understanding what's going to be asked of them, and really rising to the occasion.
At Jordan Davis, Hill Dogs 24/7 beat writer for the Georgia Bulldogs. Jordan, thank you so much for taking some time with us today. We have one more question for you, and quick answer. If not Georgia in the East, who?
I think Tennessee, which I'm sure that you guys aren't upset to hear. I mean, I really think Tennessee's got a lot of talent. To me, the question is Tennessee's secondary. If Tennessee can take a step forward as far as stopping opponents' passing games, I think they got a real opportunity. I really like what we saw out of the first year last year. And Hendon Hooker was my second QB as far as all SEC. I think they've got a lot of talent. And I think that if it's not Georgia, my guess would be the Vols would be going to Atlanta.
All right, there you have it. Jordan, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, guys.
All right, we're going to take a short and quick break right here, Mo, on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Got a couple of things to get to. The NHL is bringing it all to Smashville. We'll tell you all about it on the other side of the break. Stick around.
Hi, this is Melissa Hoisington, Regional Crisis Director from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Disasters can affect everything in your life, including your emotional health. Help is available during these uncertain times. The Tennessee Recovery Project is a free, supportive resource for adults and children who have experienced the effects of natural or human-caused disasters. Specialists are available for counseling by phone or in person. For free, confidential service, please call 833-954-2424. The hotline is open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Move forward with the help from the Tennessee Recovery Project.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, got a lot of cool things going on in the world of Nashville. We just finished up the Music City Grand Prix not too long ago, and of course, every big event in the country wants to be here.
You know what they say? Nobody throws a party like Nashville, and the NHL has apparently taken note. It was announced earlier this week that the 2023 NHL awards and the 2023 Upper Deck NHL draft, I did not realize that they had sold the naming rights to the draft. But anyway, will both take place in Nashville in June. It marks the first time that they've both been held in the same city since 2006 when Vancouver hosted them. So that seems pretty good.
Yeah, and that's exactly what most people are talking about today. It's the fact that Nashville has the ability to put on these, and not only, I mean, you're talking about it's June 26th, right?
Let's see. Yes. The awards are June 26th. It'll mark the first time that event has been held here. The draft was here previously, but this will be the first time that the awards are in Nashville. Yeah. So, most valuable player, outstanding goaltender, outstanding defenseman, and outstanding rookie will all be awarded during that. And in this
as
release,
well as the outstanding player voted by the NHLPA.
Yeah.
So there's two MVPs that are given out. I don't know how that works, but okay.
Hey, you do you, NHL. But yeah, Gary Bettman.
You get a trophy, and you get a trophy.
Yeah, everybody gets a trophy. We are thrilled to bring two of our marquee events, the 2023 NHL Awards and the 2023 NHL Draft. Gary Bettman didn't get the message about the naming rights, to Nashville, a special city that certainly knows how to throw a great party. So
There you go.
There it is.
Look, there's no question. And one of the cool things about Nashville is that you can throw a party in one part of the city and it doesn't mess with the other parts. Like if I need to go to West End, I can go to West End. And I can get around and not have to worry about, dealing with what's going on downtown. So
yeah. Previously, in addition to the 2003 NHL draft, Nashville has hosted the 2016 NHL All-Star Weekend. Obviously the Stanley Cup final in 17. Would love to host another one of those. And the 2022 NHL Stadium Series game. So Nashville has been on the NHL's radar for a pretty good while, obviously.
And that's, obviously hockey in the South gets its sometimes they've made the South
Still there? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here now. Sorry.
Okay.
They've made hockey in the South cool.
Yeah, I mean, and again, as transient a city as Nashville has become, not everybody here are Predators fans, especially where we originate from. A lot of Red Wings fans, a lot of Blues fans. I mean, there are a lot of hockey fans, not just Preds fans. And I think that has really helped develop this city into a hockey town, develop this area into a hockey town. So
Smashville, baby. Coming your way.
I love it.
Yeah, no doubt. Other news across the mid-state, obviously high school football got underway last night, and we saw a great football game. Obviously, we talked to Kevin Creasy. He may want to talk to us every week after what they did to Hendersonville last night.
Yeah, that one, not much of a contest, 42-0 the final there, and haven't heard a whole lot about it because we were a little busy, but 42-0 over a traditionally pretty good Hendersonville team.
And a team coming off of a Final Four appearance, right?
Yeah. They lost to Summit in the state semis last year.
No, they lost quite a bit from that team, including their bell cow running back. But it's still Hendersonville. They're a team that can typically reload too. So it just goes to show what Kevin Creasy has done over in Murfreesboro. Well done to them. Cane Ridge last night with a 17-14 win over Pearl Cone, and full coverage from Tyler Palmatier on MainStreetPreps.com. So they kicked a game-winning field goal. And it was the quarterback, Siobhan Abdullah, who kicks the field goal to win. How crazy is that?
That's it. And adding injury to insult, Tony Brunetti suffered a facial injury during that ball game. Apparently there was some sort of a collision on the sideline, and he actually had to be tended to by emergency medical technicians during the game, and came back out. So our best wishes going out to Coach Brunetti. Hope he's okay. He's a tough guy though. He'll be all right.
Yeah. Abdullah threw for 155 and a pair of touchdowns on 15 of 23 passing. He had a kickoff that was a touchback and averaged 36.8 on a punt or on punts.
That's
a
pretty solid night.
That's literally winning the pass, punt, and kick contest.
It's punt, pass, and kick, but yes,
whatever.
He did it all. He did it all. Good night for him. And that's the adrenaline that you've got going as a quarterback. How you settle yourself to kick or try the game-winning field goal is kind of intriguing to me. But he managed it. So
I guess if you need anybody, if you're going to have any other position player be your kicker, a quarterback, a guy who's supposed to be cool, calm, and collected, being that guy, I guess it could be worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, that sounds like it was obviously 17-14 game-winning field goal inside the final, 20 seconds or whatever it was?
I think so.
Great, great way to get the season started. I mean, that's a great ball game.
No question. We saw something similar. We had a 18 points unanswered by Richland in the second half last night to come back and get a 31-20 win over Cornersville, their first win over the Bulldogs in 10 tries. So that's always good. Big things happening down in Linville, and coming out with the all black uniforms and the matte black helmets, no white towels, according to the officials, not allowed. So craziness going on. But a great night to start high school football, and tonight's not going to be any different, Mo.
A great night for Ethan Workman, who, as you pointed out in your article that we've got up online at mainstreetmurray.com, had a couple of uncharacteristic drops early in the game, but came back 5 catches for 125 yards, 2 of those touchdowns, 7 carries for 101 yards, 2 of those touchdowns. He got it done. Put those drops out of his head and got to work.
101 yards rushing, but 90 of them came in the fourth quarter. 90.
Well, that's when Richland said, "Oh, interesting. Cornersville's got a Notre Dame box. So do we."
Yeah, anything you can do, I can do better, and they did. So
apparently, yeah. So great night for Ethan Workman. Great night for Richland in that ball game. We've also got a sidebar up on the website from that game, as Richland junior quarterback Bryce Miller on April 25th underwent Tommy John surgery after injuring his right elbow during a baseball game. Started last night, was 7 of 14 for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. 4 months today,
and threw
from
an
suffering the
bomb.
Yeah, the 63-yarder late in the third to Ethan Workman, who caught another gear to pull away from 2 defenders on that one. That was a thing of beauty. But again, 4 months to the day from his injury today. He was injured on April 19th, and Tommy John surgery, and he's back out there dropping dimes. Pretty impressive. So again, there's an article up on the website on that as well.
It was, in fact, impressive. And looking forward to more high school football tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can catch all of the coverage at mainstreetpreps.com as well. And throughout the night, prior to the game, during the game, and after the game on Friday Night Live. And so we will let Justin play a little video to tell you all about Friday Night Live. And when we come back after that, we'll talk a little Atlanta Braves baseball right here on Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So, whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're going to have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint, as we have had a fantastic first half, and now second half begins, as it always does, with a little talk about the Atlanta Braves, who I guess unfortunately didn't have a soft serve machine in their clubhouse by the end of the game, but I bet they did by today.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around the fact that a bunch of grown men are that excited about soft serve ice cream.
Okay, but wouldn't you be?
Honestly, I'm not a big soft serve fan.
Well, then today is not your day, Mo, because do you know what today is? Today is National Soft Ice Cream Day. True story.
Oh my goodness.
So there it is.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. I wonder if the Braves knew that. I wonder if AA knew that today was National Soft Ice Cream Day.
I gotta say that was hilarious.
That's pretty impressive. I mean, when Travis d'Arnaud and Kenley Jansen are chanting ice cream coming off the field after closing out that 3-2 win last night, that's pretty amazing.
So for those who don't understand, apparently the Atlanta Braves were on a road trip in Miami, and inside the Marlins clubhouse, they have a soft serve machine. And was it
now?
Is
it in the visitors clubhouse as well, or I mean, how would they have known about it? Or
that's exactly that's what I'm saying.
Or were the Marlins just kind of ribbing them? We got ice cream and you don't.
I guess that's possible. In one of the clubhouses, if not both, there is a soft serve machine. And last year, the Braves had a soft serve machine inside their clubhouse. Well, apparently, it was taken away for whatever reason. I don't know.
How you gonna take anything away from the defending world champions?
It might have broke, and they had to take it to fix it, and they just didn't take it back.
Oh, so it was a McDonald's.
It was a McDonald's
soft
situation.
serve machine.
I don't know. All I know
soft serve's out of order. Yeah, okay.
They were so after the series in Miami, some players, Travis d'Arnaud and Dansby Swanson, go to Alex Anthopoulos and say, "Hey, we want our soft serve ice cream," and he said, "Okay, fine. We'll bring it back if you win 3 out of 4 against the Mets in the next series." And
they said, done.
They said, bet.
Here's my question. Austin Riley just got 10 years for 212. Michael Harris just got 8 years for 72. Matt Olson got 8 years for 160. The money that's in that clubhouse, couldn't somebody buy a soft serve machine?
If you really wanted one, but if you really wanted one that bad and you were going to buy it, you're going to put it at your house, right?
With the good ice, right?
With a good Sonic ice machine, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, Braves take 3 or 4 from the Mets and beat Jacob deGrom doing it. I mean, I think that's
and you don't want to get nitpicky and you don't want to get greedy, I don't guess, but could have swept.
No question, the Braves had their opportunity in this series to take all 4 games. Now, obviously, not a great night on Wednesday. Offense finally woke up a little late.
Wasn't a great night for 9 innings. Get again, not a great start from Jake Odorizzi, unfortunately. Waiting for him to really carry his part of the bargain. But yeah, you got to be really pleased with 3 out of 4, I think, against the division leader.
Yeah, no question. And now the Braves now sit 3.5 back rather than 5.5 back. So again, a 2-game swing there, where the Braves are able to gain a little ground. Now, the 77-43 Houston Astros come to town, a very similar product as the Mets are bringing, and unfortunately, and I want to make sure here, they may have to face not only NL Cy Young winners, Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, but it appears they're at least going to miss the likely AL, or at least leader in the clubhouse for the American League's Cy Young and against Houston. So
are you referring to Verlander?
Justin Verlander, yes.
Yeah, it looks like the Astros are starting Christian Javier tonight against Spencer Strider. Is that right?
I think that's tomorrow.
Is
right
that tomorrow?
Okay.
Yeah, my bad. Lance McCullers tonight. Christian Javier tomorrow, and Jose Urquidy. Is that how you pronounce that? I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
On this show, we just guess.
Anyway, yeah, it looks like they miss Verlander, and that's never a bad thing.
Yeah, no doubt. After this series, the Braves, it doesn't get any easier until you at least, well, I guess the Pirates, but you got to go on the road to face Pittsburgh, and that's never, easy, especially when you got apparently Odorizzi going again. But
maybe Odorizzi will hit his stride against a Pirates team that hasn't been great.
Well, someone mentioned to me last night, even if Mike Soroka, whose next rehab start is set for Gwinnett
on Sunday, I believe,
if he was to find his way back to the big league club, Odorizzi, who was a pretty big part of that Houston postseason team last year as a kind of an inning eater, a long reliever in coming out of the bullpen. So he still has value either way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he is without value. I just think that he's really gotten off to a rough start here in his first 3 outings for the Braves. And it's been, the timing hasn't been great because, again, if he gives you anything on Wednesday, you've got a shot at sweeping that series. And that would have been nice. Excuse me.
Certainly. But again, it's kind of hard to ask him to go toe-to-toe with Max Scherzer. And
hey, Jake's driving a Mercedes too, right?
That's what they say. They say.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, speaking of driving, Marcell Ozuna, who is not in the lineup tonight and hasn't been for the last almost week, did not listen to George Plaster's last promo there about and was arrested early this morning after 4 a.m.
4:39
in Gwinnett County for, I don't know how he ended up there, on suspicion of DUI.
Yeah, that's not good given the previous.
This is at least
had.
You there? Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
If his on-field play, if Ozuna's on-field play, his poor bat this year and his obvious arm issues are strike 1. Strike 2 happened last year. This could be strike 3. But in every year that Ozuna gets arrested,
the Braves won a national championship. World Series.
The Braves won a World Series. So
taking one for the team, maybe.
Perhaps. It's just unfortunate because I really feel like, Marcell Ozuna could be a huge benefit to this team, but right now he's not been that for this organization and a part of this organization despite the $40 million owed.
And therein lies the rub. Because for everybody that's saying just release him, well, we're not going to cut loose a guy and pay him $40 million to not play. So
colleges do it all the time. I'm just saying.
Here, take your 40 million and go away. Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
They pay folks all the time to
Yeah.
It would certainly be tough to do that.
It's going to be tough, and I don't know what happens. I don't know if he gets suspended. I can't imagine he dresses tonight, but I don't know how they're going to handle it. So I did see a tweet a little bit ago that he is out of jail and either is meeting or has met with Anthopoulos. So see how that goes.
Guess we'll find out.
He is not in the lineup tonight, though, like you said.
No, he is. He is not, in fact, in the lineup tonight.
So see how it goes. 6:20 start, Valley Sports Southeast. Hopefully we can catch a little bit of it before we get into our respective games. Fox tomorrow night. Oh, that's lovely.
Fox tomorrow night. So check that out. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, we have to tell you what happened this day in Braves history.
August 19th, 1992, Tom Glavine scattered 7 hits over 8 1/3 innings and struck out 6 as the Atlanta Braves won 4-2 at Montreal, back when they had a team. It marked Glavine's 13th consecutive victory, improving the left-hander's record to 19-3 on the season. The Braves took a 2-0 lead on Jeff Blauser's 3rd inning home run off Chris Nabholz before Glavine picked up the final 2 RBIs on a 7th inning base hit and a squeeze bunt in the 9th. Hashtag pitchers at rake.
Hashtag pitchers who rake. Gotta love it. We have with us Daily Tribune, that is Columbia, Missouri, not Tennessee. So when we come back, we'll talk about the Missouri Tigers right here on Main Street Sports Station. Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in. Thanks for joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. From preps to pros, this is Main Street Sports Today. We've got you covered all the way from high school until retirement. And a lot of times in a lot of cases. Today, we continue our college football previews in the SEC East. We started this show with the Georgia Bulldogs, and now we head down or over to Como, Columbia, Missouri, where we have Matt Stahl joining us here. Matt, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are things back in my beloved hometown? Have they turned any more local landmarks into luxury housing, or still about
every
the
day?
same?
Every day.
Pay paradise. Yeah.
Matt, we are looking forward to talking a little bit about the Missouri Tigers here because we just don't know a whole lot. What we do know is that we like Eli Drinkwitz because he's cool. Outside of that, what's the feelings in Como?
Yeah, it's really an interesting year for him because, year 3 is obviously normally the time you'd like to prove something. And it just feels just around town like he's almost earned another year of wait and see just from how he's recruiting. Obviously brought in 5-star Luther Burden in. So I don't know, they're in an interesting place because I think the roster has improved in a lot of places off of last season, but it still might be 2023 before you start to see that real improvement, where you could jump up and win 8-9 games, something like that.
Makes sense. Missouri came into this conference and they were pretty quickly finding their way to Atlanta. Since that 2014 lost Alabama in the SEC championship game, however, Missouri is 42-43 overall. How much of that is just being in the SEC and apparently SEC teams saying, "Hey, wait a minute, we've got to figure something out here and be better."
Yeah, I mean, Missouri really came in at a fortunate time for that. Obviously, I mean, you look around the SEC East at that time, Florida was down bad. Georgia was down bad. Tennessee, I think it was the tail end of Derek Dooley as the coach. So it was a great time to be pretty good in the SEC East, and they certainly did that. Since then, and really since Gary Pinkel left as head coach, it's been just, it feels like 6-6 every season. And, at 6-6, it's probably what you're looking at again this year. If I had to, Vegas, I believe, has put it at 5.5 wins on the year. Now that they've named a starting quarterback in Brady Cook, I think I feel a little more confident that they'll make it to that 6-7 game bowl eligible tier.
Well, what is it you like about Brady Cook that makes you say that, particularly as he comes in behind Connor Bazelak, who looked pretty good at times last year, but took off, and he's at Indiana now.
Yeah, he looked good at times. He was just hurt for so much of the season. Cook, I just like how they didn't wait till the very end of camp to name him the starter, which I think shows at least a little bit of confidence in him being just their guy going forward. He's an interesting story, and if you want to subscribe to the Columbia Tribune, I'll have a feature story on him coming out Sunday. But he's from that St. Louis area, grew up watching those those Chase Daniels Tiger teams that were so good kind of back in the day. And he's just, always, I talked to his high school coach, and they said day one he came in and they handed him all a questionnaire, and he put his end career goal was be the starting quarterback at the University of Missouri. So he's got that going for him. It seems like the fans really like him, but he throws a pretty ball. He's sneaky athletic. You saw he started the bowl game last year, the Armed Forces Bowl, where they lost to Army when they were fairly shorthanded. And he made some plays with his legs, put the ball where it needed to be, didn't make bad decisions. And yeah, I don't know that he's among that upper echelon of SEC quarterbacks, but I think he can stand in there and be solid and not lose them games, which is kind of what they need.
Speaking with Matt Stahl of the Columbia Daily Tribune here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Matt is helping us preview the Missouri Tigers, but Matt is also a Nashville native. And Matt, is that a Nashville Cats cap you have on?
It is. Yes.
Hey.
Yeah. Shout out to eBay.
Okay. Nicely done, sir. Well played. I like that.
Believe this is from the second iteration of the Cats, although I'm not sure. There was the first one became the Georgia Force, I believe, and I want to say the second one just went out of business. Well,
this guy, that's Chris. Is he right?
He is, in fact. I am the resident arena football aficionado here.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm dedicated to arena football, man. I lived in Lexington for a summer and wrote 5 parts on the team there. So
we'll need to talk a little bit. I have my Birmingham Steel Dogs bobblehead here.
Yeah.
And just a lot of great stuff. Anyway, yes, arena football is near and dear to the heart. But it's interesting this Missouri team because Tyler Beatty was such an athlete last year, and is there anybody that can be a Tyler Beatty on this team?
I don't know. I talked recently with the running backs coach, Curtis Looper here, and he expressed it to me as that's not really the goal. The goal would be, like he said, they'll do it by committee if they have to. Now, this was kind of the question last season too, like Tyler Beatty coming in, taking over for Larry Roundtree, who's a very good running back in his own right. And the question was whether somebody could take over for him, and obviously Beatty was able to step up. Now, they got a few options this year. They brought in Nate Pete, who's a transfer from Stanford, who actually he's from just up the road, went to Rockbridge High School in Columbia. So he's been banged up a little bit during spring or during fall camp, but we'll see. I if anybody becomes a featured back, I almost would expect it to be him. You also have Elijah Young, who was a backup for Beatty last season. Michael Cox is on that roster too. The interesting one to me that I had, he actually led all of college football in rushing yards last season over at Truman State, which is down the road in Kirksville, Missouri. Cody Schrader, who's coming in, I believe he's a walk-on still, but with some other guys being injured, 4-star freshman Tavoris Jones has been banged up a little bit too in camp. Eli Drinkwitz said Schrader has been about the most consistent running back in the room, so I guess we'll see.
Defensively, Matt, it looks like Missouri was particularly busy in the transfer portal with defensive tackle coming in, Jayden Jernigan out of Oklahoma State, linebacker from Florida, Tyron Hopper, and a defensive back, Joseph Charleston from Clemson. So kind of rebuilding through those transfers, or trying to.
Yeah, I mean, they had to get better. I mean, especially you look at the beginning of last season, like they couldn't stop a nosebleed. They were horrible. But, towards the end of the season, they got a lot better. They made a change at defensive line coach midway through, and that seemed to help. They also have a new defensive coordinator this season with Blake Baker taking over, and he's changing up the scheme slightly. I think he's making it a little more simple for everybody. Steve Wilkes, the previous defensive coordinator who left for the NFL, it seemed like at times his scheme was just a little complicated for guys to follow. So I think it's simplifying. They're sticking with the 4-2-5 scheme, but they're changing out where they used to run a nickel corner. They're now running, they call it the star safety position, kind of bounce around to do everything. So yeah, we'll see. Hopper is a really intriguing addition to the team for me, just because he can, get after that passer a little bit. They actually, he was banged up a tiny bit, but they put him in one of the green non-contact jerseys for a practice or two earlier this month because Drinkwitz called him a contact player, and he said largely the green jersey is just to slow him down. Because sometimes he's that contact player in practice when they'd rather him not be.
Those are the guys you got to watch out for because they only have one speed, right? And that's 100%. And he's certainly going to be one of those guys who is going to make other people around him better. That's the best way to put it. Looking at the schedule, obviously at Florida, October 8th feels like a game that if Missouri can win, they may take that step forward in the SEC East. Is that fair to say?
I'd say so. I'd also look at their SEC opener going to Auburn. Now, Missouri's had a just whale of a time trying to win an away game in the last couple of seasons. But yeah, that Auburn game, especially where you could be coming into a situation, Auburn's obviously got Penn State coming the week before. Who knows what to make of that Auburn team? Obviously, Brian Harsin probably on the hottest seat of anybody this offseason, given what happened. So, I mean, he gets run by Penn State. Who knows what happens that next week? That's who you know. You also look week 2, they go to Kansas State, and bumping around SEC media days, talking to guys, that seemed to be the one where guys we'll kind of know what we are as a team after. I think that game in Manhattan's already sold out. So that and Kansas State, I think, won 8 games last season. So that'll be another kind of game where it's like, all right, we might be something if we can do something here.
As I was looking at the schedule, Matt, that Kansas State game early kind of jumped out at me as well, because they've got Adrian Martinez transferring in there from Nebraska at quarterback and had a bowl season last year. I think that's an opportunity early for Missouri, like you said, to go on the road and maybe get one and build a little confidence before they go back out 2 weeks later to Auburn.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, that you look at, they also mentioned that Auburn game, players did. It's like, we kind of have to win this game. I mean, if you're Missouri, you would 3-1, 4-0 is kind of where you need to be if you're going to be looking at bowls. I mean, right after that, you got Georgia, you go to Florida, and frankly, I don't really know what to make of Florida this year. I really like their quarterback.
We don't either.
Yeah, who knows? Looking at their roster, they don't have that wealth of 4 and 5 stars that you feel like you really should have if you're located in the state of Florida and in the SEC. But I mean, you go to South Carolina, really not sure what to make of them either. They seem like they'd be primed for a step back, but they've got a quarterback, so you never know. Go to Tennessee, you got Kentucky at home. So, I mean, it doesn't get any easier after Auburn. So I feel like that Kansas State and that Auburn game are going to be pretty key.
Makes a lot of sense. We've asked everybody on this show, if not Georgia, then who in the SEC East?
Kentucky. Now, I say this as somebody who spent a couple years living in Kentucky, so I'm still kind of tuned in there. But I mean, they got their quarterback back. It seems like Chris Rodriguez is going to actually play, so that's good. I think their offensive line is going to be solid. I mean, your other options, Tennessee. My question is, can Tennessee actually play complementary football and, not, lose games late? It's all well and good that they can hang 50 on somebody, but, if you give up 60, it is what it is. So honestly, that Tennessee-Kentucky game there, I mean, that could be for second in the East, even though I do think it's going to be Georgia. Just looking at their roster, I don't see anybody even coming close in the East.
That's probably about right. Look, I mean, we just talked to Jordan Hill of Dogs 24/7, and it sounds like they've done nothing but reload. So you're probably not wrong.
Yeah, it's a big year for them. I mean, it's time to figure out if they're really going to be the new Nick Saban Alabama, where you just kind of reload and maybe slip barely for a season, or if they're, more going to be one of those teams that's competitive for a year or two and then kind of slides back down. Their recruiting would suggest they're going to be competitive for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. Matt Stahl here of the Columbia Daily Tribune in Columbia, Missouri, Nashville native. Thanks for taking some time with us today, man. We appreciate it, and keep sporting those cool hats.
Oh, of course. All right. Thanks for having me, y'all. Anytime.
You got it. All right, we've got one more segment to go. Final segment of the week, which means we're looking ahead to the weekend. What are we looking ahead to? We'll tell you on the other side of the break. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, Justin Kulik coming to you from across the mid-state. Mo and I here in Columbia. Justin up in, I have no idea where Justin is. He's probably at home, if I had to guess. And I wouldn't blame him if he is. Are you at the office today?
I am at my humble abode.
Okay. So yes. You're in Wilson County somewhere. Yes.
Yes, Wilson County, God's country. Everybody says that about their own county, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, boy, I tell you what.
I tell you.
Listen, speaking of boy, I tell you what, and speaking God's country, the University of Alabama has announced today a partnership with NASCAR, and I was like, well, okay,
they just made it official. What? I mean.
What does that even mean? Well, apparently NASCAR is sponsoring the Crimson Drive. It is some sort of it looks like student-run media, and so it's pretty interesting. You know, good for them. I just thought that
NASCAR in Alabama. That's such an odd pairing.
Peanut butter and jelly. I mean, ham and burger.
Right. Yeah.
Kool-Aid and sugar.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
Like I said, I mean, I thought they were already partners. Shocked.
Oh man. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought that was funny. What are you guys looking forward to this weekend? Got any big plans?
I don't know if look forward to is the right phrase or not, but I'm helping with Titan insider Terry McCormick's coverage of the Buccaneers and the Titans tomorrow night at Nissan Stadium. So
that should be fun.
I'll be there as well, spectating, and or if they need me to come in and play.
Do you wear a jersey to the games?
I do,
just in case.
Right, I do.
Because you never know, right?
We're all undrafted free agents, all of us.
He could be like Malcolm Perry at Navy. where he was sitting in the stands watching the game, and all of a sudden he wound up playing in it because he thought he was redshirting the former Clarksville Prep standout. So
They'll be they were like, "Hey, you." I'll be like, "Me?" Like, "Yeah, you.
Yeah,
Get
you.
down here."
You know,
all right.
It's the stuff. It's the stuff movies are made of. So yeah, we'll be sure and keep a camera on Justin just in case it plays out like that. Yeah,
It'll be like this.
Hey, it could happen.
That's funny.
Was
That's
the Angels in the outfield?
Yes,
Little kid.
exactly.
Hey, it could happen. It is interesting. You know, I'm probably going to watch a little bit of that. I'm curious to see what you know. Obviously, unfortunately, Josh Malone was cut, so we won't get to see him. But I am curious to see exactly what it looks like as Julio Jones is in Nashville. He practiced more this week in Nashville than he did last year.
Yeah,
there's that.
It's not fair. You're not right.
But you know, the rest of the weekend, my mom was supposed to come up here this weekend, but she has since said she will push it to next weekend. So I've got a little party on Saturday night, but that's it. Like,
well, she knew you were planning on her cooking, and she's like, no, I'm not going up there and cooking for that guy.
She cooks at 10:30 at night. Justin doesn't know.
Yeah,
Justin doesn't. Yeah. So
No,
when I go to my mom's house, like we'll be playing cards or whatever, and then at 10:30 at night, my brother will say something like, "Man, I'm hungry," and she'll whip up and I say whip up because literally a hamburger steak or a country fried steak and mashed potatoes and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I'm like, Mom, it's 10:30 at night.
Bless
We're not like, what are you doing?
It reminds me of the Will Ferrell scene. Mom, the meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Like, what does she do? I never know what she's doing.
It's pretty crazy. So yeah, she probably did think that I was gonna ask her to
cook at 10:30.
To cook, not at 10:30. I mean, I'll be asleep at 10:30.
It could be any time. Yeah, 1 a.m.
So, you never know. So yeah, we got a lot to look forward to next week, but not this week. I got nothing. So I'm probably just gonna sit around and I'll watch a little Titans, watch a little Braves. Sunday, I might actually get to relax. It's been a crazy week. Justin knows. I mean, he's been you've been doing the same thing I've been doing all week, having to deal with 2 shows and try to get prepared for that. And I just need a day to rest.
Man, do you think it's possible? I don't know if that's allowed.
That's a good question.
I mean, we'll run it by the.
I guess you're gonna find out, huh?
We'll see. I mean, we'll check. I don't think so.
So if I get a phone call on Sunday, like, "Hey,
what are you doing?
Do something," I'll be like,
"It'll be more
then
like
you'll know." Yep.
It'll be a knock.
Yeah, that's the problem for you, man. You kind of can't get away from it, but
no.
Yeah, luckily,
not unless I get drafted.
I do have one big thing coming up this weekend, and it is work related. But I got a heads up today, Mo, that there is a big news story coming in Spring Hill. And I just checked the Planning Commission packet, and it looks like it's in here. Pretty big news coming to Spring Hill in the world of potential sports and entertainment. So I am excited about getting this story put out there. So be looking for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's called a tease.
That is correct. So Monday is the meeting. I'm going to go to the meeting. I'm probably going to put something together before the meeting this weekend. And it'll be in Wednesday's paper.
Dropping
this is big enough to hold our deadline. So
have you spoken to Alicia about that?
I've spoken to our editor. We'll see what we'll see. I think it'll be fine. I mean, again, most of the story will be written prior to Monday. We're just going to throw a few quotes in, and then we'll call it a developing story. And for full coverage, visit mainstreetmurray.com.
There you go. Driving that website traffic. I like it.
There you go. again, George Plaster coming up at 4 o'clock. You got 30 minutes to get you something, get ready, because George is going to talk for 5 straight hours from 4 to 9. And then after 9, you'll get Zach and Billy and Justin and all of us reporters coming at you, giving you all of the news that is news across the mid-state and high school football on Friday Night Live. So George Plaster at 4, Friday Night Live at 6. It's going to be a great one. For Justin, I'm Chris. Mo?
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.